Good morning and welcome back to Community Couch Time, April 28th. I'm hoping that you're feeling great and doing well and getting caught up on all your schoolwork and just doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. So today I'm going to be continuing sort of the notion of storytelling and sharing a little bit about myself. That's one of the things that you all said that you wanted in your daily journals. So today I'm going to share another story that's kind of about myself and kind of not. So essentially, yesterday I kind of shared with you that I was born in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and raised in this place called Loving, New Mexico. And so as a kid, my dad was really involved with like the Chicano movement and trying to help people of color, people who were poor, working on like farm workers' rights and working on just the rights of the people in general to be able to be happy, free of oppression, treated with respect and dignity and love. And so I was sort of raised with that as a kid. I remember sitting around with him and all of his friends and hearing them talk about the needs of the community and what they were going to do to try to make an impact. And so one of the things that, give me a second. Morning cafecito, so good. But one of the things that was really impactful for our family was that my dad, in the late 70s, mostly early 80s, he got involved in protesting against this nuclear power plant that was going to be built there in the desert area of New Mexico where we're from. And so my dad used to refer to it in his protesting and in his talking points as sacrificial lands, that they were sacrificing the land, our Mother Earth. This earth, as we know, gives us everything that we need, and we need to take care of her much more than we do. And right now with this pandemic, we're seeing that we haven't been taking care of her, and some horrific things are happening to us because of it. So let's go back to the story. So my dad was protesting against the nuclear power plant because not only was it going to have a negative impact and sacrifice the land, but it was also going to have a negative impact on the people that live in that area. And so in that area right there in the desert, there are lots of poor folks, poor indigenous peoples, poor, black folks, poor Mexican folks that were from at that time, a lot of them were from Chihuahua. Now it's a little bit more diverse, more migrations from other parts of the world, but at that time, that's, a lot of who was there, and poor white folks as well. And so, so he was protesting, and a lot of folks were, people would come from other parts of the country to try to put a stop to this nuclear power plant. And so I'm going to share with you a really cool poster of my dad, and you can see he has the no to the WIPP power plant poster behind him. And for me, I find it very interesting because a lot of the posters that I see now that people are using against like the Keystone Pipeline and other things like that. So essentially the things that you see, the messages you see on the poster are very similar to the messages of the protests that are happening currently in time. And so eventually what ended up happening is that people chose the jobs. They wanted jobs. So they, the protests, the direct action and the actual, on the boots organizing that was going on against the nuclear power plant was unsuccessful. And they ended up building the nuclear power plant and provided jobs for the area. And what we also see is an increase in rates of cancer. So, we need to start thinking about jobs and creating things that are good for us as people, but that are also good for the earth. But we also need to hold people and companies, corporations accountable to take care of the workers, right? What's good for the earth is going to be good for the workers. And if it's nuclear waste, the people working are going to be exposed to nuclear waste. And in the case of the WIPP power plant, not just workers, but all the people living within a certain mile radius are also in danger of being contaminated with nuclear waste. So anyways, I just wanted to share that story. The sad thing is that they built it. The good thing is that we know the impact that it has had, and we can use that as something to teach others. So today for your daily journal, the question is going to be, what can you change of yourself, and who can you impact to change? So I want you to think of something in the world that you don't like, something that's wrong with the world, and I want you to think of like how you can change in a way so that it has an impact on that thing. So if it's like plastic waste, we know that the oceans right now are full of plastics. There are whole islands in the ocean. So what can you do to change plastic consumption for your own self, and who can you impact? That's going to be your daily journal. But before I leave with you, I want to go ahead and share a quote. So never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. That's Margaret Mead, and she has studied societies very in depth. She's a world-renowned expert, and so I trust her. If we come together, no matter how small or big of a group of citizens we are, we can make change. So for your daily journal, once again, what can you change of yourself? Who can you impact? Remember, others can see your posts. Please respond to one another in la quech.